Oh, this looks cute. New coffee shop popped up. Rainbow Cafe. Nice, and it's 2 stories. Wow, I'm gonna check this out. While I go inside and order some coffee, white mocha for me with caramel drizzle. Why don't you guys check out how I made it? See you in a bit. All right, let's finish this out. First thing we're gonna do, our favorite things, lights, right? So this one's a little funky one, but it's not hard. It's just a little strange to build. So you're gonna take these little, 2 little triangle guys, and you're going to butt them up against each other, kind of like that. But you're gonna find out later, it's not gonna be square. So you're going to kind of want to put them at an angle, but you won't do that until you put the little cross beam in. I'll show you. So this is when you don't want to do, let this part completely dry. So you're going to do all 3 pieces at once. Because you're going to see, you're going to tilt it just a little bit. There we go. And just make a little pyramid. As square as you can make a triangle. And just let it dry. Now we're going to put in our light. I would recommend making sure your little wood triangle is dry as possible, because once you stick this in there, it's going to kind of move and slide a little bit. So I kind of bent it just so that it kind of sticks up in the middle, sort of like that. I mean, just do it how you think it looks right. It's going to end up in a weird spot. It's on the floor, on the top floor. So it kind of gets covered up with all the furniture, but it's still visible. So just make it pretty, you know. And there you go. Cute little light. I like doing these kits to learn how to do different lights, because I am seriously going to take some of these ideas, not this one, but to use in my dollhouse. So, and that's coming up. Well, how am I going to make all these lights, huh? Speaking of lights, we got about 4 more to do, and none of these are hard. So first off, I had to find me some AA batteries here. I think it was AAA actually. They're the little ones. So this first one, pretty straightforward. You're going to use this little rivet guy and just put it up as far as you can. The bulb that goes over the top is going to just slide off. So you do need to glue these. And I'm using my alcohol-based glue, because metal on plastic, you want to use the alcohol-based glue. White glue, it would eventually just fall off. So let's use this glue, since they provide it for us too. Now you're going to make a street light. It's the exact same beginning. So you're going to put your rivet on. Make sure the small little stick out end goes towards the light bulb. You're going to glue on your bulb exactly like the last one, right? Here's the difference. This is basically a stirring stick straw. So if you lost this, just, go to your local coffee shop and just get a stir stick. The little straws that you get. And then you're just going to cut it to size. And this is going to be the post for the lamp post. And the last piece is going to be one of these little wooden pots, but we're going to use it as the base. Very clever, very clever. And I did glue all these pieces together so it stayed rigid. Otherwise, you're going to have a very floppy lamppost. Ta-da! Very cute. And you got your wall light and lamppost. Now we're going to level up just a little bit with these lamps. So we're going to build another wall lamp, basically like a sconce. So it's going to have a little bit of a wire or an arm or a neck, I guess. So starts out exactly the same. Rivet. And then gluing your bead over the top. And now you're going to cut the thick black wire that they provide you to size. If you get it off, it's fine. It's just going to be a little longer, that's all. And then you're going to kind of bend it into a J. Now I did this in stages, so I'm using my alcohol-based glue, super glue basically. And I'm going to glue the top into my lampshade first before I start manipulating it. So I'm going to glue that in there and I'm going to let that dry. So in the meantime, while that's drying and kind of where I want it, let's make the next one. So what we're doing is making a chandelier. Yep, we're leveling up, see? This was probably the trickiest of the lights. But just take your time, you'll get it. It took me a while. I mean, I edited down a lot of the letting it dry, holding it in place. I mean, I think I edit about 6 hours worth of video down to what you see here. I wish it only took 30 minutes or whatever. So I did all 3 of the little arms at the same time. That way I can make sure that they're all exactly the same size or very close to it. And then with these, you're going to kind of make a funky little S shape. And I'm doing them all at the same time, or trying to, just so that I can get relatively the same or consistency in all 3 of the little arms here. They're still going to be off and you still got to tweak it, but at least we can have a good beginning. Alright, we got our 3 arms. They're relatively consistent and the same, pretty close anyway. Now let's build our chandelier. Phase 1 is super easy. We're just going to glue our little long oval shaped beads right there, just like that. So we're pretending those are lights. These are our pretend light part. And you can see we multitask here. So while those are drying, and this one's now dry, we're going to finish this wall sconce here. So what you're going to do is you got a wooden bead at the end, and you're going to glue the other end of the wire into that one. And then I just glued the wires kind of to the curve of the wire of the metal piece. The wire to the wire. It's a little fiddly. I used my clothespins, did a piece, glued it, let it dry, glued it, clipped it, let it dry. Again, just patience. You'll get it. See, it's almost already there. Now, if you do use little clamps or clothespins like I do, my only advice is don't let the glue 100% dry with the clothespins on. Otherwise, you're going to get a light with a clothespin on it. It will glue to it. So I just get it to kind of tacky dry, just enough that I know it's going to stay, and then I remove it. That's just there as a temporary finger, basically. Don't leave them on there. I've done it, and you're going to have to break your clothespin off. But I get a bag of these for $1 at the dollar store, and, you know, I break one. No big deal. There you go. See? Back to the chandelier. Okay, this is the worst part. So what you're going to do, and I'm trying to figure this out, is you're going to put these little hook arms onto this ring. And then once you get that situated, then you're going to put the light in. So we're just going to set that light aside, and we're going to put the little arms in here. I don't know if there's the easiest way to do it, but what I did is I just put them all the way around, just kind of in general form, and then try to lay it down kind of flat onto my table, and then just put a gloop of glue right down the middle. I also did not touch this until it was pretty much set, because if you do this while it's still wet, once you pick it up, all your little arms are just going to go bloop, 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 fall right off. You're just going to get mad. So take a time, go have dinner, come back, and then you can do the next part. Okay, now that this is pretty much dry to the point where I can pick it up and it won't fall apart. So what you're going to do is put your light right down the middle. It's tricky because it's a tight fit. And your arms will probably fall off. They did for me. But the good news is it's kind of tacked in there. At least it was for me. So I put the light in, kind of strung it through, and then readjusted the arms, and then glued the heck out of it. I even taped down the wire just so that it'll lay flat, and then use my plier handle to kind of prop it up. Again, just glue it like crazy, and then let it dry. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Now, I really did like this chandelier, but because of all the glooping and just the exposed bulb there, I decided to dig out some beads that might potentially fit in the middle, just to kind of clean it up. So I found a pony bead. It's kind of a clear peachy color, and I just stuck it in the middle. This is completely optional. I just wanted it to look a little bit neater, so I stuck that there, and it just happened to fit just right. And it looked, in my opinion, it looked a little better. There you go. You got all your lights done. Phew. That was the hardest part. Now we'll start baking some walls. Come on, don't be discouraged. Victory is just around the corner. He's right. He's right. We're almost there. This is the fun stuff. So we're going to make the doorway. I was looking at the sign that they have over the door. It's just a thick piece of paper, basically. I was looking in the instructions. It does not say to back it with the white cardboard. You could if you wanted to, but I didn't, and it seemed to work out okay. All right, we're going to build the doorway. So first off is we're going to build this little ledge. I'm going to say the trickiest part of this was finding the correct pieces. So use your charts, because at first I had a shorter piece, and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't right. So So look at your part numbers and use the charts that they give you. And it's just a little ledge that you're going to stick the sign on. This goes over the door. And you're literally just going to stick the Rainbow Cafe right there on that little ledge thing there. And then it said to put the rainbow in later, but I was like, well, I got this now. Might as well put the little rainbow there too. Plus it's pretty. This is the doorway where the doors are going to set. So you're going to have your little 3 square piece on top and then 2 little legs. Keep it as square. I use my grids a lot. There's a reason I have the grid to square it up as best as possible. And this one you don't want to pick up when it's wet because those very flimsy little legs will just fall off. So just slide it to the side and let it dry. All right, these are the doors. It's a double door. And you're going to cut out your plastic piece. And you have your little pattern here, door. And just kind of, I just roughly mark it and then cut it out. Then you're going to glue it on. And this is going to be in the back of the door. So it looks pretty on the front. And again, this white glue does dry completely clear. So, because if you're a globby gluer like me, you want, make sure, whatever glue you get, make sure it says dries clear. Gonna make some door handles. So again, you gotta do a little bit of math here. So it says it's gonna be 0.7 centimeters or 7 millimeters wide, and then each little hook is gonna be 0.2 millimeters. So that's 1.1 centimeters total in your length before you curl it. And then you curl it into kind of a staple shape. Now, is it important that it's exactly that size? No. You can make it whatever size, but whatever size you do choose to do, make sure both of them are the same. And then you're just gonna glue them on there. I use my fast tack glue, and it literally does just kind of stick instantly. And if you do use that glue, the less is better. And you almost have to kind of let it dry just for a few seconds, and then it'll be like a sticky gummy kind of feel. And it makes these doors real easy to make. There you go. Now we got kind of a bay window on the left side, and very easy. You're just making a box basically. So first off, you're going to, now you could either cut these pieces of plastic out first, or you can do like I did. I just glued the pieces directly onto the plastic and then cut them out. Either way, it works. You get the same result. We're going to build our box. Pay attention to what's on the outside and what's on the inside, because it does later on matter how big this is going to be. So it's going to fit in a very specific hole. So just make sure you do it right. And I was trying to decide whether the film goes on the inside or the outside. It does go on the inside. Once you've got your little frame there, you're going to glue one more plastic piece that goes over the window area. Again, this glue dries completely clear, so you won't see any of that glob. And we're just gonna make it as straight as possible and as clean as possible, and then just set it aside to dry. Alright, we got a couple more windows to do. We're about to get to the point. Thanks, little gerbil mouse cat guy. kind of building this like we did the door frame. So just build it up. And I will say at the very end, I know I goofed at some things on this. You'll see. And there's a big one, and then there's a littler one. Both are built exactly the same. This one is bigger than the other. And then we're going to put like a little curtain at the top. Now, before you say anything, I did figure out way at the end that I did these completely upside down. Because once I built and of course it's after you build the whole entire thing, you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. So I did end up having to take these out. It wasn't too bad. And then put it the right way around. But goes to show, no matter what, everybody makes mistakes, but they are fixable. All right, on the top floor, there's a little awning, or they call it a tent, and all you're going to do is cut this piece out. I will say this was probably the trickiest cutout piece. You could do this a couple ways. You could do like I did, where I actually cut out every single little scallop. It took forever, but you know, you just kind of zone out and do it. Or you probably could just square it off and just call it a day. Either way, it'll look cute. Now I did pre-crease these, so I used my little embossing tool thing that I use for everything. So I just made a straight line between the two sides and just kind of went along where the dotted line is and just lightly went across. This really helped in creasing the sides. And you just fold it up. Yeah, that pre-creasing really helped. Makes more of a straight line. Now, the way they wanted you to do this was to make the frame first and then stick it inside your little awning piece. I decided I'm just going to build it directly into the awning. It just made more sense to me. Plus, you have lines already here, and if you creased it right, it should fit exactly in this little slot. So I just glued it directly onto the awning. You could do it either way. And the last step on this is just to glue your little legs on. I would probably, instead of doing it this way that I'm doing it right now, I would lay it down, because they'll start tipping. I think I do later on. Yep. And we're just gonna set that little guy aside to dry. We don't need it yet. We're doing everything ahead of time so that we can just build the house. Boop, 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 boop. All very satisfying. Okay, it's gonna start looking like something now. So remember this little street lamp? There's a nice little groove here, and this is where the wire's gonna go. So this is the trickiest one. So what you're gonna need to do is thread your wire through that bottom left-hand corner hole, glue it into the groove here, and then it's gonna come out on that top hole. You're gonna see there. So don't glue down that paper piece until you get your wiring right. It's tricky and very fiddly, but it is doable. And you'll notice I use my alcohol-based glue for the wires. It just sticks better to those for me. And then I'm going to use the white glue for the paper on wood. Because no reason to waste all your more expensive glue. Usually the alcohol-based glue is about $3 more than your other glue. So I try to use white glue where I can. And I'm just going to tack down this street lamp. It took a while, and I had to hold that there for quite a while for that to stay upright. And I propped it up with something and just let it dry. And now we're just basically going to wallpaper walls here. So the little channel thing goes to the back, and we're just going to put this little wallpaper on here. Now they want this little guardrail to kind of go into this area. I thought it was supposed to fit in there, so I tried to really bang it in there and I broke it. No biggie. We'll just glue that little guy. Nobody will ever know. And then I eventually just kind of lays on the top. There we go. That works. Nobody will ever know. Now for the back, there is a backing paper for this, but don't put it on there because that's going to be put on last because we have to put a wire right there. But I pre-cut it out. And those holes on the side, those are if you get a kit with a music box. Mine didn't come with a music box. It's kind of hit or miss if you get one, but so I just left it with the dots on there. All right, now we're going to make this is the second floor. It seems like it would be the bottom, but it's the second floor. The second floor is very garden-y. And this one's pretty straightforward. Just glue it on. Match the shapes. We can do this. And I do smush these all with the brick. Yay! Who misses the brick? I always have it handy. All right, now there's a hole in the middle that's where that funky triangle light's gonna sit, and it's right there. So go by the hole on your wood, not by the indicator on your paper. At least in my case, where it said the hole was on the paper was completely off. So I'm going by where the hole is there. So I never hardly pre-put holes in the paper. Mainly for this reason, because sometimes they don't line up. So you're going to see it's way off. And now you're just going to string your triangle light through there and glue it down. Make sure your other light is dry before you put the other one on. So I'm just measuring kind of where they want this ceiling light to go. So it looks like, you know, there's a little angle. So off the tip of that angle up, they want it to be about 3 centimeters. So we're just going to mark that so we kind of know. Usually there's a reason, because there's a wall there or something in the way where they want you to make sure it's in the right spot. And I'm just going to glue this down. Again, anything to do with wires, I use the alcohol-based glue. And just kind of make your wires kind of nice and neat. And you're going to have your ceiling light plus your triangle light wires. So I just organized them so they're nice and neat and tidy. You won't see them once it's in the project, but it's nice to have it nice and neat and flat. There we go. That wall is all nicely prepped. We'll just set that aside to dry some more. Another wall, and we're just gonna wallpaper this side. There's a brown side and then there's the wood texture side. So we're gonna put the wallpaper, this wallpaper, the newspaper print, and then the faux brick at the bottom. That's all gonna go on the inside of your cafe. There's a couple windows here, so there's one that fits right in there. Mine was a little loose, so I did glue it a little bit. And they have this piece of lace here, and I just kind of accordion folded the top and then glued it down a little bit to the side. Now, I was looking in the instructions on this. This is to the point in the book where it gets more and more vague in the instructions. The beginning was great. It tells you everything. But the pictures get smaller and they get way more vague. And I was looking to see, because there is a pattern for a right side window for the plastic. And I thought for sure it was going to go over here. You probably could. Because I had some left over, but it didn't say to put it there. Oh. So I left this window pretty much open. Now we're going to flip it over, and there's a little brick bottom to it. It's kind of nice that they have these pieces pre-painted brown. Makes it nice and neat. Even though you don't really see these sides, but it's nice continuity. Now for these top windows, you do have to put the plastic on them. So again, I just glued the frames directly onto the plastic, cut them out, and then we're going to put them on the top there. Just like that. More walls. So we're just going to cut this out and glue it on. There's 2 sides, and you really can't mess up which side goes on which, because this paper, once you cut out the window, only fits one way. So just glue those on. There's 2. Brick on one side, white brick on the other. All right, this is the hardest part. It was fitting that, remember that little bay window you built? I think you can glue it directly on top, but it kind of fits in that hole, and I was determined to get it in there. So I squared off the corners, and I did that quite a bit and jammed it in there. It took a while. I had to do a lot of sanding and scraping to get it to fit in there. If you don't want to mess with that, you could just glue it just like that, where it just kind of sets on top. But it kind of it fits like a little in, a little out, that kind of thing. So I was determined to get it in that hole, just to make it look a little neater. And after a lot of pushing, shoving, jamming it in there, we got it in. Ha 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 ha. And of course, while I was doing that, the little plastic piece popped off the front, but no biggie, we'll just glue it back on. There's a little stage piece, and this one is gonna be together, and then there's a couple more little tiny walls. Now what threw me off, and I was looking at, you notice I have two big rectangle pieces, but only one piece for wallpaper. I think, and I'm pretty positive, they gave me an extra piece. And it really threw me off because I was like, where does this piece go? Did I forget something? I looked through the book, everywhere. No, it's just an extra piece. They accidentally threw one in. I'll use it in a project somewhere. Could always use free wood, right? So when I did this second one, now in my brain, I automatically, when I see dotted lines, it's telling me that it's going to be folded. So what I automatically did is I folded it and glued it to the side. No, you're supposed to leave it flat. So whoever makes this kit, don't put dotted lines if it's not supposed to be folded. Just leave it. Because, you'll see. And then this hole at the top is where that wall sconce is going to go. So it's nice and dry, it's not going to fall apart, and we're just going to string it through and glue it in. And then just to make this nice and neat, we're going to glue down the wire in the back. Not all the way down, but mostly down so that it's not in our way when we put this all together. Alright, here's our little stage, so we're going to glue the wood piece or the wood piece of paper onto the top. And then there's this long strip, and it fits exactly on the edge of the outside. So start on one end and just go all the way around. It'll fit perfectly. Okay, this is what we've been working towards, right? We're gonna put it all together. So let's put the walls up. This is where you can see that I should not have folded that over because it's going to get covered up. It's supposed to be a flap so that it'll cover the edge on the side of this wall. And what I have done in the past, I did it I think on the bookstore and things, is painted that edge white. I could have done that, and I thought about it. I really did. And then I thought, you know what? It kind of gives it a good look. It's kind of like it's got trimmed out. So I left it. Once you got your walls up, we're going to go ahead and put our inside posters in. You kind of want to do it in the steps that they say, and I put that one in upside down, I just noticed. So we're going to take that little guy out and re-glue it. Because once you get the walls in, and I will find this out the hard way later, it's really difficult to add something into these rooms after all the walls are up. So we'll just fix that. And put some more furniture in there. This took me a while to figure out what they wanted, because there's just this circle that says, there's your things. It's like, where is that? I was like, oh, in the window. Got it. Also makes me glad that I kind of inset that window too. I wanted to show you the pictures in the corner are almost literally the size that I had to deal with. I had to magnify them. There is hardly any instructions, but you just kind of use your detective skills here. So I put these up. When I put that second staircase going up to the left there, I decided I'm going to test this out with the upper floor wall, or not the floor, just like that. And that kind of helped me dictate where the stairs should go. So I just kind of pushed it up just a little bit more. So I'm trying to think realistically. We probably don't want to be tripping over that last step, especially if we had up our hands full of coffee and stuff. So I just kind of placed it on there. There we go. That fits a little better. Now we got the first floor pretty much furnished and done. So before we get too far, we're going to, right in this corner here, because there's going to be a wire that goes through. Remember we put that ceiling lamp on the second floor ceiling? So we're going to just notch this out so that the wire can kind of, so the floor can lay flat, basically. If all goes well, this should fit right in its slot, like that. Now we're going to put all the goodies on the second floor. But wait. We did this wrong. We got to put the stage on, then put the instruments on. I'm telling you, the instructions, when you get to the last 2 pages of the book, they're A, super tiny, and B, very vague. So, just be careful. Here's a perfect example. They're tiny. I had a magnifying glass. I haven't used a magnifying glass in forever. I had to steal one from my dad. Okay, now we're going to build the tippy top roof here. Now you could either pre-build this and then let it dry and then set it up. I just built it on the project. So I just put it right there. Just glue it there. And we have our chandelier, and we're just going to glue it to this pole. So you kind of split the wires in half and then center it up on there. And I did use my white glue, or not white glue, alcohol glue on this one. And then here's our little crossbeam. This little crossbeam was a little tricky to put in because the left side wanted to fall down. Now we're going to put the roof on, which is this corrugated paper. Just cut it to size and glue it on. And then we're going to stick our little awning on there, the little tent side. It does fit in there. And this is where I realized, oh man, I forgot to put the posters on in the back. So I guess I'm going to be an example of what happens if you forget to put a piece in, and it's very, very tricky to get in there. I did eventually do it, but oh boy. I did debate. It was like, do I want to take this apart to put these in, or do I just want to... I just carefully put it in there with my pliers. And now we're going to put the fence up. Goes all the way around. It does fit. Again, this is literally the picture you get. And it's just like, and do the rest. It's like, okay. So you kind of have to pick and choose how you want to build this. Yes, I know those windows are upside down. And no, I did not realize it until the very end. I mean, it does. The only thing that threw me off was like, wait, why is there just a big white area there? Maybe I was going to cover it in plants and things, but then it's like, no, it's upside down. But again, I didn't realize this until the very end. Now we're just gonna cover it in plants. So just go crazy. This was a fun part for me. I like putting the little plants and things. Just put it all over the place. I also decided that it needs to be not just green. I want to put, because I had a lot of plants left over, I'm going to add some purple flowers because I like purple. It's going to be like a flowering vine. All right, we got everything pretty much done. Now everybody's favorite part is wiring. So remember this channel? We're going to glue our wire down. Once we got that down, then we're going to put this piece of paper over. I wish a lot of them did this actually, because then you can hide all those little wires back there, just like that. Not that many people look behind it, but you know, it's kind of nice. I thought this warning was kind of funny. It says the lamp wires cannot be inserted into the outpost socket, if I can talk. This makes me think that somebody tried to put the end of these wires into a outlet socket. Oh my gosh. You know, don't we get taught that when we're 2, not to stick things into the socket? Yeah. But what I'm doing here is I'm just going to trim these all down to relatively the same length. So give it a little haircut. And then I'm going to, on all the wires, just take the plastic part. Now, I could use my nail on it because these are nice thin wires. If you need, I do also have a tool that is a wire stripper. It's specifically made to take the plastic part off of all these wires. With these thin ones, I can do it with my nails. I destroy my nails, but that's okay. I'll redo my nails after this. You know, my I don't know if you notice or care, but I do my manicure based on what I'm making, and I try to match it up. So I tried to do this sparkly rainbow manicure here, but it usually lasts exactly as long as the project, and then it's dead, and then I have to redo it, which is kind of nice. I have fun with them. Once you get all your wires stripped down, then you're going to want to organize it by half is kind of it's a gray off-white color. If you're colorblind, this is tricky, but you somebody has suggested in the past, which is a very good idea, is to mark the positive and negative. So put a Sharpie mark on one side and not the other, that kind of thing. So you can put all the same to the same. So you're just going to split those up, and then you're going to wire it to your power box. I like to use these shrink tubes. They do give you tape, but I highly recommend using these shrink tubes. They're so much easier to work with, and it's very, in my opinion, much more secure than the tape is. Test if the lights work, then ta-da! We did it! Yay! And of course, later on I realized my window was wrong, but then I switched it. I did. Oh my gosh, you guys, this place is great. Coffee, fantastic. I mean, you got live music. I mean, what more can you want? Plants, hey. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was really, really fun to make. This was by special request by one of you guys. And so if you have a kit in mind that you'd like me to do, definitely leave a comment. I read them and I put them on my list. In between my coffee breaks, I'll work on another one. So thank you so much for watching, and got so much more to do. But right now, I think I'm gonna sit in the swing chair over here. Bye! Testing, testing. How wide can I go? Testing. Too much light?